Hello, welcome to the Code Beginners. We are going to learn PHP today. So for that purpose, we are gonna do that in just 10 steps. So first of all, for learning PHP, you need to install Wamp. So how can you install Wamp? Just go to google.com, and in that Google, you can just type Wamp, and it will take you to the search result here, and then you will click and open it up, and then you will find something like this is a website. Then you'll click on download, and you can download the Wamp server for Windows. If you are using a 32-bit computer, then you will download this, and if you're using a 64-bit computer, then you will download this, and then simply install the Wamp server as per instructed. Okay, so I have already installed the Wamp server in my computer. That is right here. That folder will be made after you will install your Wamp. So the first step of installing Wamp is done. So now let's come to the second file, the PHP files. I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of HTML files. So for PHP files, what you will do, you'll write the HTML code inside of a PHP file, because basically a PHP file is needing a structure that will provide, obviously that structure will be provided by an HTML file. So first let me save this file. Save. So what you need to do, save that file in a directory. You need to make a directory. So let me show you that when I will install the Wamp, then if I type localhost, I will be redirected to this page. So if I see there, this is your projects, there is no projects yet. So there you come in Wamp, in www. This is the basically project directory. So if you create a new folder right here, so that will be your project. So I create project 1. So if I refresh this, you can see that I have their project 1. So inside this file, you will be saving your project files like .php, .html or .css files in order to run those files on Wamp server. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go to my computer, Windows C, Wamp, www directory, then project 1, and then all files, and I'm gonna save this as index.php. So if you remember that in our previous videos, we have saved our files like with extensions of .html and .css. So now we are saving this with .php. So now we'll save this. So just quickly gonna make head, and just quickly gonna make body. So after that, let's write here hello PHP. Okay, so save this. So let's see what happens if we open our project. So that nothing happens because the URL isn't correct. Local host / project 1, and there you go, you have this hello PHP message printed out like from nowhere. So okay, so one thing to show you, if you refresh view page source, you can see that HTML code right there, because on the view page the HTML code will be shown in the source, but the PHP code will not be shown. So we are gonna see that how. Go to the file, and for PHP the syntax is something like this bracket, and then question mark, and then you will type PHP, right? So after that, what you will do, you will put a question mark, and then you will close that angle bracket, so inside these, whatever you will write will be considered your PHP code. So let's say so we are done with our second step, making PHP files. So now outputting strings. So what we will do, so in PHP for outputting you use echo command is being used for printing the strings, simple strings. So let's stick to the hello PHP. Okay, so just save this. So if you will come to that, then you will refresh this, you can see that you have two things like this. So if I remove one thing, there will be no difference here. So let's say if I remove this PHP, save this, there will be no difference. Alright, PHP, hello PHP. So if you go to the viewport page source, there you go, you cannot see the PHP code because the PHP is hidden from the user always due to some security purposes. So the next thing, we are done with our outputting strings. So the next thing is variables. In PHP, like other languages, you have variables. So the variables defines like with a dollar sign, and let's say name it variable. So in PHP, there, unlike Java and C#, there is a characteristic like this. If you put dollar sign here, and whatever you will type here, whether you will type here an integer, a string, or a character, or anything you want, it will automatically convert it into its data type. So let's say I will type here a string like this, hello PHP, are you there? Okay, so I'm gonna print it out using the echo command. So let's say I write here echo, and in spite of string, I'm gonna write here my variable, that is variable. So if I save this, what will happen? If I save this and refresh this, this is the source code basically, sorry. So if I refresh this, it's giving some kind of error. So let's see what we have got in mistake column or table. So there you go, you can see that we have not put the semicolon right here. So be careful about semicolons, because if you don't put semicolons, so let's see what we have got in mistake column or table. So there you go, you can see that we have not put the semicolon right here. So be careful about semicolons, because if you don't put semicolons, it will cause an error, and sometimes a single semicolon errors in error cause an error to run the 2000 lines of code. So take care of the little things like semicolons. So we are done with variable, and now if we refresh this, so sorry, I haven't saved this. So if I save this and then I refresh, okay, sorry for that. So if I refresh this, you can see that hello PHP, are you there? So that we are done with variables. So now come to the string concatenation. So since string concatenation is pretty easy, so if I in the variable, let's change the name of the variable like language. like a programming language in the context supposing. So let's say I write here a string, I'm gonna give it a PHP. So in echo, let's say I write here hello, and to concatenate an other variable or a string, what you will do, you will just type a dot and then you will just write that variable name like dollar language. So you're done here. Just save this. Now if you go to the Firefox, and if you refresh this, then you get this hello PHP. So if you go to the Sublime text back, and if you change here and you give it here a value like Java, okay, so if you refresh this, just give me a minute, hello. So if you refresh this, then you will get something like this, hello Java. Okay, so I put some spaces on, so that's why there is a space this time. So now we are done with string concatenation. Now let's come to operators. What are operators actually, and what kind of operators you can use in PHP? There are so many operators in other language in PHP like other languages. So we have equal operator, we have plus operator, we have minus operator, and we have division operator, and we have multiplication operator. These are the general operators. So in order to compare two variables like $A and $B, what you will do, you will just type two equal signs in order to compare them, and if you want to compare them that they are not equal to, then you will just write here not. Okay, so these were the operators. Basically there are so many operators that we are not going to discuss right now, but we will discuss them in any next video if we meet. So in the next is, so we are done here with operators. So next is if statements. So let's go and have a look on if statements. So let me make a variable called logged in and give it a value of true. Okay, so what I'm gonna say, if $logged in double equals true, then you're gonna give me like echo you are logged in, else it is gonna give me echo please log in. Okay, so that is gonna give me this. So if I save this now and go to the browser, refresh this, then it is telling me that you're logged in. If I change the value to the false, like here, false. So now what is it gonna give me if I save this file like here, and if I go here, just refresh this, it is saying please log in. So you're done here with if and else block and if statements. So now we are gonna have a look on the next step, that is handling data forms from HTML forms. So for that, just come to the Sublime text, and right here what we are gonna do, we're gonna add a form that is basically an HTML form, and inside of it we are gonna have input and another input, two inputs, and what we are gonna have it of the type of text, so it will take a text box on the page. So here, let's say I want a type to be submit. Yes. So if I save this and if I go there and refresh this, there you go. So there you have a text box and there you have a submit button. So if you press this, nothing happens. So if, however, I will write here form action is equal to, like I write here a file name, like in the same directory, a new file .php that I haven't created yet, but I will create that in a while. .php. Alright, so that is our action. So if I save this now, save this, what will happen if I refresh this and just, let's say, let's submit query. So it will try to go to the new file.php that has not created yet, so it has given an error of not found. So what I will do, I'll just go into the directory and I'll create another file. So for that, I'll just go to the new file and I'll try to save that file in the same. So new file.php, new file.php. So that is the file basically. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy paste this stuff to save time. Copy paste, just I'm gonna remove this for now. Okay, so now what I am gonna do, I'm just gonna name it as name is equal to, let's say, name. Okay, and what if will take us to the new file.php, and then what will happen, we need to give it a command like method, and we're gonna give it a post, because what it is gonna do, that it is gonna take the input from the user and then it will process that input to the new file.php, and then in that file this is gonna store that information or that input that we will take from the user. So that is the important thing that you are supposed to keep in your mind. Okay, so just enter your name. Okay, so save this right here, and now here what you are gonna do, you're just writing php, and you are just gonna close that php by entering a question mark and then a bracket. So we are gonna write here, let's say, $name is equal to underscore, and in that underscore, before that underscore, I'm gonna write here $post, and I'm gonna put here the brackets and colon, and in that column I'm gonna put name. So that is that name is equal to this. If I write here ASQ, then I'll write here ASQ. If I write here code, then I will write here code. So I hope the concept is clear, right? So put the semicolon on, and write the simple echo command, and then in that string let's put hello, and then we simply concatenate the string like we did before. So for that purpose we put dot, and we have put the dot inside the colons. We are supposed to put that outside the colon. So put the dot and then dollar name. So we are done here. So if we save this and save this and then go on the page and refresh this. So code beginners, we have typed here, it has said that enter your name, and we have typed here code beginners. And if now we submit the query, it will say hello code beginners. So if I say here hello Johns, enter your name Johns, then it is gonna give me hello Johns. Okay, so hope the concept is clear right here. So now we are done with this. So now come to the arrays in PHP. In PHP we can write arrays like this, like if I have a dollar sign and animal, and we're gonna write here array, and inside those arrays in colons I'm gonna write, let's say, dog, and then what I'll do, I'll put a comma, and then I'll put cat, okay, and then I'll put comma, and then I'll put tiger. Okay, so that is basically 3 animals. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write here inside PHP. Okay, don't forget to write these 2 things, because if you won't write it, it won't work the same way. Okay, so now put the semicolon on, and now you're gonna write here, in order to print the array, you're gonna write print underscore r and dollar animal. So save this and let's see what we have on our output. So we must be having on our output something like this. It is telling us on 0 index we have dog, on the 1 index we have cat, and on the 2 index we have tiger. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, let's say I want it to be printed out completely like this. I want echo, and we are gonna remove these columns, and we're gonna write here dollar animal, and we're gonna give the index. Suppose we want to know that what is it on the index number 2012. So I'll type 2, I'll save this, and let's anticipate that what is on index 2. So 0, 1, 2, and index 2 the tiger is on. So we are supposing to get the answer as tiger, and yes, we got the tiger. Okay, so the next thing we are gonna do is loops. So now we are gonna take a look on loops. So in loops in PHP, I have found out the for each loop as the most useful loop in PHP. So we're gonna use that. For that, you will just write for each, and here is the syntax of that for each loop. So there I will write the variable name, and that is basically animal in my case, and I'll show that animal as let's say I give it a name. You can give any name here. In my case, I'm gonna give it a name like mammal, because dog, cat and tiger are mammals, so animal as mammal. And I'm just gonna simply echo these things inside here. So in spite of string, what I'm gonna write here, that variable mammal, because from the animal array, that mammal variable is gonna take each each value at each index one by one, and it is gonna print that out using echo command. And when after the second index there will be nothing left, so what will happen, this for each loop will simply ends. Okay, so save this and let's see what we have on our output. So if we refresh this, you can see that we have dog, cat, tiger. So in order to look it better, what we will do, we'll just concatenate it with a space. So save this. If we see on our output, dog, cat, tiger. So using for each loop, you have done that successfully. So that's it for today. We are done with loops too. So if you really like the video, then please do subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.